Welcome to my one-man panel of madness. Alright, hello and welcome back to Dr. Gio Who's Sci-Fi and Horror Ramblings. And today we have an official announcement from Star Trek Discovery, and that is that we have a new Spock. And let's see, I think a lot of people are trying to figure out who this new Spock is going to be. Well, we know who he's played by now. Young actor by the name of Ethan Peck, who happens to just be the grandson of the legendary Gregory Peck. I try to look up a few little tidbits on him, besides the fact that he lives in Los Angeles. He's been in movies like In Time, 2011, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which was with Nicolas Cage. That was 2010. 10 Things I Hate About You. And as I kept looking, he's done a few other shows that we may know him from, like Madam Secretary. So the question is, who is he? What is he going to sound like? This is kind of cool because we all knew that at some point it was going to, it was going to be discussed that obviously Spock is going to be in Star Trek Discovery, but in what way? Early on, when they started production on the season 2 of Disco, they put a really kind of almost cryptic little teaser, and you heard Jeffrey Hunter as Pike and Leonard Nimoy as Spock, and they were doing lines from various episodes, so you knew right there that Pike and Spock were going to be featured in some way. I mean, we knew once we saw the Enterprise, it would be very difficult to not have a story where Spock was going to be included. I mean, he's on board the Enterprise. He is just still the science officer. He's not yet technically the first officer of the Enterprise. Now, I don't know how they're going to play it in this new updated version of Star Trek and the timeline, but technically that's why we have a character called Number One. Number One is the commander, the first officer of that ship. So we know that that's Rebecca Romaine, who is going to be playing the role that was originated by Majel Barrett, the wife of Gene Roddenberry. So I'm excited. I like to see new things, and these kind of things get me more ecstatic about seeing where the show is going. I have a feeling that the whole Spock storyline won't be until maybe the next. You know how like they did with the first season of Disco, you had this whole idea thinking that it was all about the Klingon and the Klingon war against the Federation. But then suddenly, midway there, it changed, and instead it went into a mirror universe take, and then they did that for part of the season, and then it went back into our prime universe, and then obviously the ending of the season. So I am predicting, I'm not sure if this is going to be true or not, but Dr. Gio predicts that the whole Spock storyline will come sort of mid-season, towards more towards the end. I just have a feeling. It just seems like with everything we saw in the first trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 2, that the first part is going to be with Hunter. I'm sorry, not even Hunter. Sorry, Captain Pike will be that first part of the story that leads into why Spock had to take leave. If you saw the trailer, there's a moment where Captain Pike mentions that Spock has taken leave, and I think it's actually Michael who makes sort of that comment that maybe he's looking for something that he couldn't answer. So I think that there might be something like that. I don't want to say that it's probably going to be another search for Spock type storyline, but it could very well be that he found something regarding those anomalies, and now he's trapped somewhere or something happened. And this could play very well into why he's a little different. I'm looking at pictures of Ethan Peck, and I'm kind of, they did a comparison. Hollywood Reporter put a comparison of both Ethan and Leonard side by side, and he has the nose and somewhat the look. We'll have to wait and see what he looks like with the head and the uniform. But again, this is very exciting news for the sci-fi world, especially, since we kind of had that bit of a downer with regards to Star Trek 4 being stalled now. And, we're still waiting to see what happens with that. Will negotiations resume? Maybe yes, maybe no. Or like I mentioned, maybe it's time to go the way of disco and start introducing the world of Star Trek into maybe new characters, new voyages. It worked very well with Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and we went back to Enterprise, but even though I liked Enterprise, I think people were just kind of like, well, can we move on beyond just Kirk and Spock and McCoy and the Enterprise? You could do Next Generation, that worked, but another story with the Enterprise, might not work. So I really think we should keep exploring the depths of characters in the Star Trek universe. This is what Star Wars has been really good with. It's taken some of the core actors, but then created newer spin-offs from that. When you look at Star Wars Rebels, which is a show that I really enjoy, they introduced new characters that were Jedi, new characters that were part of the rebellion. So I think it would be a really good idea for Star Trek to start doing the same thing, not just on television, but in movies. I think a new Star Trek type movie where it's brand new, clean slate, fresh, will work. But that's just my opinion. And again, they're just rambles, and so not facts. Anyways, it's very exciting. We have a new Spock, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I mean, I really, really enjoyed what Zachary Quinto brought to the character in the Calvin Timeline movies. So I'd like to hear this Ethan guy's voice just to see if he's got that Spock-ness to him. There's Zachary Quinto definitely has it. You can see just in the expressions, the voice, he definitely has Mr. Spock down. So now, Ethan, it's your turn to give us your rendition of Spock and see how that plays out. So that's very cool, and that's all I have for today's ramble. Very exciting stuff. It's a good time to be a geek. Just remember, be kind to each other. Don't be a dick. If you don't agree with someone's opinion, just remember, it's just that. It's an opinion, just like mine. It's a ramble. So if you don't like it, hey, you don't have to accept it. Just move on. So be kind to each other, and we'll talk again later.